we shooting today?
We're shooting something.
Yeah, Julia's doing a segment on worms. We've got worms, people. We've got
we do.
worms.
But
What are you shooting
break down stuff.
I was like, what?
He's talking about your belly, man.
Oh, is that okay?
It is worms, yes. We are shooting worms.
Deanna's driving a Cessna.
That's cool.
I know.
She gets to do cool
Our
stuff.
show, man, it just keeps getting better and better.
That's right, and we keep going.
Today, we have a very special guest here in the studio, Cathy Nesbitt of Cathy's Crawley Composters, and she's going to be doing something really cool. She's going to be setting up a vermicomposting bucket here, right in the studio, which basically is composting with worms.
Exactly.
We've got a bed full of shredded paper, and there's water, and there's all kinds of stuff, raw food here. How do we start?
Well, any container will do. Okay. So this fabulous plastic one is great. So we want to add in about 1.5 liters to 2 liters of water.
Does that go first?
Yep. So as you mentioned, we have the paper here. This could be leaves, straw, cardboard. Any combination of those is perfect. So we've got enough bedding. So if you want to add the water in, add it all in. Better too wet than too dry. The worms are about 90% moisture. So there we go. We're all mixed up here.
And here's an interesting worm fact. Did you know that worms have 5 hearts?
Oh, don't you love that?
Yeah, and also, here's another fact for all you kids out there watching, when you see a worm on the sidewalk after the rain, don't chop it in half, because they don't survive that way. Even though it's a myth that they do, they don't, right?
Oh, thank you for saying that.
So just put them back into the soil and let them dig back down and do their job.
Now we're going to add in about 1 liter of soil.
And there's some crushed egg shells in here.
And the crushed egg shells are in. The red wigglers don't live in the soil, but they require the soil for the microorganisms and grit. The little bugs that break down the food, and then the worms eat the bugs.
Okay.
So we're going to be adding about 1 pound of worms in this bin.
Ooh, I can't wait. So now you're saying too that these composters, because people are thinking, oh gross, I don't want a big bucket of worms in my house, because you keep this in your kitchen. You don't smell them.
It's an aerobic process, meaning with oxygen. So as long as your worms are not overfed, there's no bad odor. And
now they're going to be breeding and stuff in here. So what happens when they start breeding?
Well, happy worms.
Sure. Do you get more worms though? Do you gotta pull them out, or you gotta separate the boys from the girls and say, stop that?
They're hermaphrodites.
Oh,
they are boys and girls.
The boy girls.
Yeah,
okay.
the Ishis. And yeah, so you would never have too many worms. The worms will reproduce to fill their environment based on available space and available food. So you do a little squeeze test, a few drops should come out. Okay. Better too wet than too dry, because the worms are 90% water. Yep, we want to fluff it up a little bit because they like it fluffy.
Well, I guess they want to be able to dig down there easily, right?
Yeah, so they can squirm around easy.
Sure.
A group of worms is called a squirm.
Is it really?
Yes.
Now, when do you add the food?
Well, after you get the worms in, you let them get established sort of overnight, but and then you can start feeding right away.
All right.
And when you're feeding your worms, it's really important to make sure that you bury the scraps in the bedding so that you don't get fruit flies.
Isaac, it's the moment of truth. A squirm of worms. And you said this is 1 pound in here, right?
Pound of worms, 800 to 1,000
worms. Look at them! Oh, yeah. Look at this, Isaac. Nummy. Look at that. Okay, so what do I do, Kath?
So you just gently put them on top.
Just kind of
sprinkle them around.
Oh, it's like a layer, like I'm making a lasagna.
Yes. And because of the light, they'll naturally go away. They'll make their way naturally.
Look at them. Now, when we do feed them, there's some rules to what you put in the composter, right?
Yes, yeah, thank you. All of your fruit and vegetable scraps, all your peelings, coffee grounds, tea bags, beans, grain, bread, pasta, rice.
What can't you put in? I know no meat.
No meat, no dairy, and no sauce.
No dairy, how come? They got lactose intolerance?
They don't like cheese. Bungs them up, no.
No worm poo, no soil. How long is it going to take before we start seeing soil being created?
It's about 3 to 5 months. You're feeding them 3 to 4 pounds per week. They eat about half their weight every day.
If you're interested in getting Cathy's Crawley composters, just go to Gina and Lester's website at ginaandlester.com and you can click onto her link from there. And also just let you know that there is a worm hotline. So if you have any questions, you can give Cathy a call. Thanks, Kath.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.